ॐ प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः.
Namaste everybody. We've been moving along with Lord Krishna in his efforts to revive Arjuna from his deep depression. Lord Krishna started with Sankhya Yoga, then moved on to tell Arjuna about the Karma Yoga, and then next to Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, that is sannyasa, sacrifice of the karma through Jnana, Atma Jnana. Let's move further. Last week, நம்ம பார்த்தோம் Lord Krishna telling Arjuna that Karma Yoga is ancient and sacred and secret. It had been passing down through traditions and had a break in between. And Lord Krishna claimed that he had taught the Karma Yoga to Sun God. So immediately Arjuna questions Lord Krishna, how is that possible? Because Sun God is from time immemorial. So that opens the path for Lord Krishna to reveal a secret about his avatar. Today we are going to see further. இன்னைக்கு நம்ம பார்க்க போற 4 ஸ்லோகமும் from chapter 4, ஸ்லோகாஸ் 4.7, 8, 9 and 10. இதுல வந்து 4.7 and 4.8, some of you may be familiar with both of them. And I'm sure particularly 4.8, most of you would have heard it at least once in your lifetime. Right. The secret of divine birth சொன்னதுக்கு அப்புறம் Lord Krishna goes on to explain the situation, underlying situations which necessitate such an avatar to occur. And then he goes on to say what is the purpose achieved with such an avatar. He also then explains what can everyone learn from the truth and reality of such a divine avatar to shape themselves towards the path of liberation or moksha. Then finally Lord Krishna spells out the inhibiting factors of the personality traits which cause a hindrance to the path, and thereby an advice to us to shape our lives. Let's go further.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्.
Lord Krishna goes on to explain as to எப்ப வந்து அவரு அவதார் எடுப்பாருன்னு சொல்லிட்டு, that is, what is the situation that necessitates Lord Krishna to take an avatar and come on this earth. அதை தான் அடுத்த ஸ்லோகத்துல பார்க்கிறோம். So 4.7, यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिः भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजामि अहम्. இதுல Lord Krishna addresses Arjuna as Bharata. O Bharata, yada yada hi na eppepo, whenever. So Lord Krishna clarifies here, it's not once, it is whenever. Whenever what happens? Dharmasya glanihi bhavati. Dharmam, the righteous path, that there is a serious obstacle or a decay glanihingiradhu vandu and the decay bhavati when it happens. So yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati, எப்பெல்லாம் தர்மத்துக்கு decay வருமோ, அது மட்டும் இல்ல, அதர்மஸ்ய அபியுத்தானம், அந்த evil rises its head. Abhyuthanam, it's showing an uprising. So ஒரு சைடுல தர்மம் குலைஞ்சிட்டே போகுது, dharma decays. On the other side the righteous path decays. On the other side the non-righteous things, adharmic things raise their head. அந்த டைம்ல எல்லாம் எப்பெல்லாம் இந்த மாதிரி ஆகுதோ, so Lord Krishna says, Atmanam srujami aham. Ahamna nan. Lord Krishna is telling about himself. The superpower, Atmanam srujami. Nane enne srishtikiren. So he had revealed the secret of his avatar, that as though born, he creates himself with his influence over the nature. So Lord Krishna says, when does that need arise? Whenever there is a decay of dharma, and whenever there is adharma raises its head too much. So both happening. And that is the time Lord Krishna says he makes himself as though born. So it is a nice way. First he said the secret of his avatar. Now he is saying the occasion, எப்ப வந்து அந்த மாதிரி அவதார் necessary சொல்லி விளக்கம் பார்க்கலாம். Whenever and wherever there is decline of dharma, that's righteousness, and ascendance of adharma, that's unrighteousness, at that time I manifest myself in visible form. So Lord Krishna tells Arjuna this. தமிழ்ல, பாரதா, எப்போதெப்போது தர்மம் அழிந்து போய் அதர்மம் எழுச்சி பெறுமோ, அப்போது நான் என்னை பிறப்பித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். சோ அந்த அவதார் எடுக்கிறதுக்கு ரீசன் சொல்றாரு. இதுல நம்ம கொஞ்சம் உன்னிப்பா கவனிச்சோம்னா, if you look at it little closely, we'll find that the Lord reassures whenever there is a decay of the dharma, whenever there is the evil forces raise their head, at that time voluntarily the superpower comes, takes an avatar. Obviously it is for a reason. தர்மம் குலைஞ்சு போய் அதர்மம் ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்குன்னா அப்போ அதை நியூட்ரலைஸ் பண்றதுக்காக. Isn't it a wonderful thing to know that we always have somebody who is our caretaker, ready to step in? It's like the mother, nothing less. Let's go further. Before we take up the next shloka 4.8, a brief introduction to the term yugas that appear in the shloka may make the understanding better. There are 4 yugas in a cycle, and the cycle keeps repeating. From the time of the evolution of the universe till the time it dissolves, there are many cycles of the yugas. The 4 together are called Chaturyugas. These are first Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga. It starts with this, each cycle, and in this 100% of the people are Dharmic people. They follow the Dharmic path, righteous path. And as we go through the yugas, the Dharmic level drops, Adharmic level goes up. The second one is Treta Yuga, where 75% people are Dharmic, 25% are Adharmic. Rama Avatar is supposed to have been in Treta Yuga. The next one is Dwapara Yuga, where 50% are dharmic, 50% are adharmic. Lord Krishna's avatar is in Dwapara Yuga, and the Mahabharata war was on the borders of going to the next Yuga, which is Kali Yuga. We are presently in the Kali Yuga, where 25% of the people are dharmic, 75% are adharmic. The redeeming feature is at least 25% of the people have dharmic values of life. And as I had mentioned earlier, these four together are called Chatur Yugas, and they form one cycle. And interestingly, one cycle of Chatur Yuga is 4.32 million years. It's not a linear duration. Totally, they form 4.32 million years, and 1000 such cycles is called one kalpa, and 36,000 kalpas is the time for the total duration for total dissolution from the time of evolution. In a nutshell, the total life cycle of this whole universe from the time of evolution till the time of dissolution is supposed to be 311 trillion years. So we can take heart in the fact that all of us, without exception, would be gone much before the dissolution takes place. Anyway, this much of information should be enough for us to appreciate the term when it appears in the next shloka. And interestingly, this point on the yugas, life cycle duration of the universe, will appear again in chapter 8, Akshara Brahma Yoga. அங்க வரும்போது we will talk little more on this. Let's go to the shloka now.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे.
In shloka 4.8, Lord Krishna explains the occasion or occasions which necessitate his avatar on this universe. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So idhula Lord Krishna says threefold reasons why his avatar happens. One, sadhunam paritranaya. Sadhuna, நல்லவங்க. The learned people, noble people, good people. அவங்களைய பரித்ராணாய, for protection of them. That's the first fold reason. Second reason, dushkritam vinashaya cha. Dushkritamna, the evil doers, the evil people. Vinashaya cha, avangla destruction kaga. So one is for the protection of the good people. Second is for the destruction of the evil people. And the third fold reason is dharma samsthapanarthaya, dharmatai நிலைநாட்டுவதற்காக, for the establishment of dharmic values again, because they had deteriorated beyond an acceptable level. So Lord Krishna says the threefold reasons which necessitate an avatar, where he chooses to take an avatar, is protection of the good people, destruction of the evil people, and re-establishment of the dharmic values in the society. So he says, for these three reasons, yuge yuge sambhavami. யுகம் கொஞ்சம் முன்னால் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ண. அப்போ யுகே யுகே எல்லா யுகத்திலையும், in whichever yuga you are in, and as many times as it's needed, sambhavami, he says, I make myself appear as an avatar. So it's a very nice reassurance to us. If we follow the good path, if we try to be good, and though there may be evil in the society, there will be a time when the Savior will come to destroy them, to protect us, and the dharmic values will always be established. So it's a great message of confidence building for ourselves. விளக்கம் பார்க்கலாம். For the protection of the righteous and destruction of the wicked, and for the sake of establishing dharma again, I incarnate myself on earth from time to time. That's what Lord Krishna says. தமிழ்ல நல்லோரை காக்கவும் தீயன செய்வோரை அழிக்கவும் அறத்தை நிலைநிறுத்தவும் நான் யுகந்தோறும் பிறக்கிறேன். So we talked about the 4 yugas making one cycle and many such cycles. So Lord Krishna says, irrespective of the yuga where the evil raise their head too much and the noble people, the good people tend to get down because of that, to re-establish the dharmic values, Lord Krishna takes an avatar again and again. இப்ப நம்ம பார்த்த ரெண்டு ஸ்லோகாவும் very popular in Bhagavad Gita, and particularly this last shloka, it had become even more popular with the melodious singing by Sirgari Govindarajan Karnan picture. Anyway, the meaning is profound. We will be seeing more of it in chapter 8, Akshara Brahma Yoga. Let's go further.
जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम्
जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम्
एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः
एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः
त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म
त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म
नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन
नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन.
இந்த அவதார் எடுக்கிறதோடு only purpose is it protection of the dharmic, destruction of the adharmic, and establishment of dharmic values, or is there something more from this? அதுக்கு பதில் தான் அடுத்த ஸ்லோகத்துல இருந்து கிடைக்குது. Let's have a look at 4.9. ஜன்ம கர்ம ச மே திவ்யம் ஏவம் யஹா வேத்தி தத்வதः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनः जन्म न एति माम एति saha Arjuna. So Lord Krishna addresses Arjuna by his name. O Arjuna, yaha, yaru, any person, may, என்னுடைய, that's my, ஏவம் திவ்யம் ஜன்ம கர்ம, இந்த மாதிரியான divine avatar and the action that's being taken, that is the superpower, the Lord, when he takes the avatar, he behaves like a human being, he does all actions, though the God is supposed to be above all actions. Earlier we saw in the Karma Yoga, the Lord says, if I do not do, rest of the people will try to emulate and stop doing work because the people follow the leader. Therefore, he sets an example. And he says, Yaha, yar me ennodia, evam divyam janma karma. In the Madhyana divine avatar and the actions thereupon, or the karma that the Lord does in the human form, tattvataha, getting an insight, that is, knowing the truth as it is. Veti, the one who understands that, saha, avan vandu, deham tyaktva, when he leaves the body, that is, when he dies, the Atma, what happens to the Atma? We had seen earlier in Sankhya Yoga, the Lord Krishna had said, Atma ஒரு உடம்பை விட்டுட்டு இன்னொரு உடம்புக்கு போகும். When a body dies, Atma leaves that and takes another. Is that going to happen for a person who takes an example and emulates and follows in the right principles? So Lord Krishna says, Saha and the Madri Alu, Deham Tyaktva, when he leaves the body, Punaha Janma Na Eti, he does not get another birth. That is, he is finished the birth cycle, rebirth cycle. Mam eti, he reaches me. Lord Krishna says, the ultimate abode, that soul, that Atma reaches the Lord, there is no more rebirth. That is moksha, liberation, ultimate aim. So Lord Krishna says, one other reason, the higher reason for the avatar is for people to emulate and follow the path of karma yoga. So that is what he says. He revealed the secret of the avatar, and then he revealed the nature or the reason which necessitated the avatar, and now he is also explaining the higher level of meaning for such avatar. விளக்கம் பார்க்கலாம். He who knows correctly the truth of my divine birth and actions on leaving his body would never take birth again. He would certainly come to me, says Lord Krishna. தமிழ்ல, எனது தெய்வத்தன்மை கொண்ட பிறப்பும் செய்கையும் இங்கனம் என்பதை உள்ளபடி உணர்வோன் உடலை துறந்த பின்னர் மறுபிறப்பு எய்துவதில்லை அர்ஜுனா, அவன் என்னை எய்துகிறான். So Lord Krishna says, the good people should feel reassured. To protect them, the Lord will appear, and they should understand the way of the Lord. After taking the birth as in a human form, he does all actions in the righteous way. So this person, if he follows that example, he will have no rebirth. He will reach the Lord. Let's go to the next shloka.
वीतरागभयक्रोधाः
वीतरागभयक्रोधाः
मन्मया मामुपाश्रिताः
मन्मया मामुपाश्रिताः
बहवो ज्ञानतपसा
बहवो ज्ञानतपसा
पूता मद्भावमागताः
पूता मद्भावमागताः.
Is there a recipe for understanding the Lord truly and to track the path of moksha or liberation? Answer for that comes in the next shloka. What are the requirements to reach that state? So 4.10 says, Vita raga baya krodaha manmaya mam upashritaha bahavaha jnana tapasa putaha madbhavam agataha. So Lord Krishna says the three things are to be shed. Which are they? Vita raga baya krodaha. ராகம்ங்கிறது desire. பயம்ங்கிறது வந்து the fear. பயம் சொல்றோமே. குரோதாஹா anger. இது மூணையும் முதலே நம்ம பார்த்திருக்கிறோம். The three things to be shed by those people. So the people who are without desire, fear, or the anger. And then manmaya mam upashritaha. Their thoughts are always in me, and then they take refuge in me. That is, they have absolute faith in me, Lord Krishna says, absolute faith in him, and they try to follow his path. And then jnana tapasa putaha. They are also purified by the discipline of knowledge. In the knowledge, Atma Jnanam. That is, those people who probe, who am I? நான் யார் கேட்டதுன்னா உண்மை தெரிய வரும். What is that true nature? Who am I? What am I here for? What am I required to do? And the self knowledge வர ஆரம்பிச்ச உடனே பகவஹா, many people, madbhavam agataha, they have reached me like that. So Lord Krishna says the recipe is shed desire, fear, and anger, and have full faith in the Lord and take refuge in that superpower, and with the discipline of knowledge purify themselves, their minds, so their actions are purified, thoughts are purified, words are purified. So following this path or the secret, Lord Krishna says many people have reached his abode. So there is a simple formula. The three things should be shed in life: the desire, fear, and anger. அதே மாதிரி probing inwards, self analysis, atma jnanam. So it's a lovely recipe. விளக்கம் பார்க்கலாம். Freed from lust, fear, and anger, fully absorbed in me, and having taken refuge in me, many men, purified by knowledge and penance, attain my consciousness. தமிழ்ல விருப்பத்தையும் அச்சத்தையும் சினத்தையும் துறந்தவராய் என்மயமாய் என்னை அடைக்கலம் புகுந்து ஞான தவத்தால் தூய்மை பெற்று என் இயல்பு எய்தினோர் பலர். So Lord Krishna says, leave the desire, fear, and anger. எப்போ desire விட முடியும்? மனசுல contentment இருந்ததுன்னா. Then we don't have reason for material possessions or the greed for that. பயம் எப்போ இருக்காது? The fear. When we are in the right path, மடியில கனம் இருந்தாதான் வழியில பயம் சொல்லுவாங்க. So only when we have a guilty conscience, then we need to fear things. If we are clear and follow the right path, there is no fear. And anger, when does anger come? The suppressed desires we saw earlier, that is what manifests as anger. So when you don't have the desire, the anger also naturally is subdued. So the three things to avoid, and the thing to follow is to purify the thought, the words, and the action through self-knowledge. So that's a simple recipe. மேல போகலாம். So jnana karma sannyasa yoga, that is renunciation of karma through self-knowledge, atma jnanam. அதுல வந்து 4 ஸ்லோகா இன்னைக்கு பார்த்தோம். And முதல்ல Lord Krishna explained the necessity for the avatar. He had revealed the secret of the avatar earlier, and he says, யுகத்துக்கு யுகம், யுகம்னா என்னன்னு சொல்லி பார்த்தோம். In every yoga, multiple times, whenever there is a need for Lord to take an avatar, that is, எப்போ தர்மத்துக்கு டீக்கே வருதோ, whenever the adharma raises its head too much, the Lord said he makes an avatar. அந்த அவதார்ல என்ன பண்ணுவாரு? The Lord said, this is for, he does the protection of the good people, destruction of the evil people, and establish the dharmic values again. And there is a higher meaning also in the Lord's avatar, because as a human being, he does all the karmas, actions as one would do. So this is for others to follow as an example, and those people who understand the true nature of the avatar, they will move towards the path of liberation. And the recipe for that is jettison desire, fear, and anger, and purify oneself, the mind, the words, and the action through discipline of self-knowledge, through introspection. So we saw beautiful shlokas. We will continue the next week. We are moving steadily in our journey to understand the nuances of Bhagavad Gita through simple explanations in a mix of Tamil and English. Let's move together. See you next week. Take care. Namaste, everybody.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.